a letter from Jill Weister, the chair of the Lebanon Valley Destination Marketing Organization, or DMO, recommending appointments and reappointments to the DMO, and I'll read them off together. They are first, Phil Feather's term has expired. He's chosen not to serve again. They are recommending that he be replaced by Jeffrey Hughes of the Foundry Craft Grillery, and that term would be for 3 years starting in January. Pam Tricamo has resigned due to other commitments. Her term was 2 years, and they are recommending Melody Vincent of Lebanon Picture Frame and Fine Art Gallery, and that term would begin immediately and serve until the end of 2016. Tom Siegel has resigned from the board due to other commitments. His term was originally 3 years, and they are recommending that Pat Kerwin of the Lebanon Valley Expo Center be appointed in his place, and that would, let's see, Pat was serving as an ex officio board member. This would make him a voting board member, and would serve out the remainder of Tom Siegel's term to end in 2017. And the reappointment of Ken Spatz, Ray Maillet, and Josie Ames, each having 1-year terms originally, and now would be reappointed to a 3-year term ending in 2018.
Could I ask if this is for the new year or if this is effective immediately?
The Melody Vincent's is effective immediately, and Pat Kerwin's is effective immediately. All the rest would be beginning in January.
Okay. Then I guess I need to ask a question. Commissioner Ames, do you plan to continue serving on the Tourist Bureau board?
Yes, I do.
Could I respectfully request then that Josie be voted on separately?
You may.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve all of the appointments except Mrs. Ames?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve all of the appointments to the DMO board with the exception of Mrs. Ames. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So ordered. Now I'll accept the motion for the appointment of Mrs. Ames.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I can't second it if I think I'm on the
You can
record.
second it, madam, and still vote against it.
I prefer not to, thank you.
Okay. Well, that leaves me in a precarious position then. I suppose I can't, since this conflict is paramount in your mind, I suppose it leaves me in a very difficult position. I want to thank you for that. All right, the motion dies for the lack of a second.
Anybody have a solution to this? Or?
Well, I would offer that the solicitor has given an opinion on what constitutes a conflict. I'm not going to interpret that on his behalf, but I know it includes if there's any pecuniary benefit.
Right.
So, as individuals, you make your own decisions on whether or not that is indeed a conflict or not. So, I don't have that handy.
I know.
Well, I mean, if that's what you, that's my option, or my alternative is view that and consider that.
I don't want to be excluding a worthy volunteer over someone's interpretation, which may not be accurate. I don't want to have that happen. What's your pleasure? This is
My pleasure, you don't want to know.
Well, I understand that. I guess I shouldn't have asked.
The saga continues, the continuing saga. That's why I felt and expressed myself. It's exactly how I feel, because I don't want to deal with this picayune crap for another 4 years. There's absolutely nothing that I or my wife can gain as far as money or benefits or anything else by us both serving on that tourism board, Commissioner Litz, but yet you hold that out there as you're some champion of something, you're saving someone from something. I have no idea what it is or what your intention is. I suppose it has to do with your people above politics motto, I suppose. It's exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting. Well, like I
Well,
said,
I have a motion. Do you want to second it, or do we, that's the gamut. I would say yes, but I don't want to.
That's what I was suggesting about the definition. If the definition and your actions as individuals is often, is largely within your comfort zone of what the solicitor put forth as a conflict, as a definition of a conflict, so.
I guess to move off center here, if we would like to review and consider Josie at another time. I mean, this is sort of an insult to her as a volunteer, because she's,
it's a significant insult to her,
So,
absolutely,
but
to her integrity.
I think Josie's extremely qualified. I just feel the conflict comes when two people in the same household family are serving on the board at the same time.
We both serve on the Salvation Army Board. It doesn't seem to be a problem to them. You know what? I just think it's so ridiculous. I'll second the motion to appoint Mrs. Ames to the Board of Directors of the DMO. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. So ordered.
I'm voting opposed.
You're voting opposed, okay.
Oh.
Commissioner Litz votes in opposition to that appointment. Any other pleasantries that we can deal with today, Jamie?
I have three more.
Okay.
Conservation District Advisory Board. Each year, we are required to solicit from a list of provided or eligible nominating organizations nominations for members of the Conservation District Board. We solicited that back in September. I think they mailed it out, and with a deadline of October 31st. We actually have 5 back, which is a really good result for us. We're usually dealing with 2 or 3. And these are nominations for the farmer director position and public director positions that are open on the Conservation District. You can accept these nominations and appoint according to the tally of nominations, or you can choose to appoint someone else as you see fit. We are required to go through this process, and that's where you get your recommendations. So with that said, for the 2 individuals who currently serve in these positions are Glenn Krall as the farmer director and Donald Bollinger as the public director, and those terms expire at the end of December. We received 3 nominations for Glenn Krall, 1 for Joel Smith, and a second choice nomination for Brent Hostetter, and a second choice nomination for Brett Copenhaver. We've often had second choices just in case there's, an abundance of others, but that hasn't been the case. So first, let's do the farmer director. With what your wishes. This would go to 12/31 of 19.
I'd like to go with the recommendations.
Glenn
based
Krall,
on the
number of nominations.
That's what
Is that your motion, Glenn Krall?
yes.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we'll have a motion and a second to appoint Glenn Krall as the farmer director to the Lebanon County Conservation District Board of Directors. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. I know, Glenn, is it okay if I vote on that? Motion carries.
For the public director, you have a nomination, one nomination for Karen Feather, Vanville. You have 2 nominations for Donald Bollinger, and 1 nomination for Tom Embick, and a second choice nomination for Jim Tominelli.
Well, I see another one coming here, so how would you like to handle this one, Mrs. Litz?
Could we give Karen Feather a shot? I know that she is extremely capable and has worked for U.S.
You
Congressman.
want to make that motion? That's up to
Sure.
you.
I'll move to appoint Karen Feather as a public director.
We have more than one for,
Donald Bollinger has 2, Karen Feather 1, Tom Embick 1, and Tominelli, Jim Tominelli 1.
you're not putting me on the spot. I'm just not interested in seconding that motion, that's all. Is that what you're looking for?
That's, if you don't want to second it, that's fine. The motion dies for the lack of a second. Do I have another motion?
Move to approve Don Bollinger based on the recommendations of the folks.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Is there discussion?
Yes. I think Donald does a good job. He served us a long time, but I also am aware that his daughter is in the Conservation District, and he would be making personnel decisions for her, and I think that that would be a conflict of interest. And so, as long as she is employed there, I think it would be best if there would be another director at this time.
May I rebut that?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. I sit on the board of directors, have for 4 years now in the Conservation District, and I do know that, yes, in fact, Donald Bollinger has been very capable and actually served as chairman the first 2 years that I was a commissioner. And I also know he's to be a very ethical person and has refrained from voting on anything directly related to his daughter, Angie Foltz, who works for the district. So I will call for the question. All those in favor of giving Donald Bollinger the nod on the board of the Conservation District indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Aye, with regret, because I think Don's a good person.
Well, maybe you should put those things in the forefront when you make these decisions, whether or not they're good people that you can trust, because those things mean more to me than just suspicions of what someone might do. Do we have anything else, Mr. Waldemuth?
Take a chance on anything else? Go ahead.
I have advisory board members to children and youth for reappointment. These individuals' terms expires December 31st, 2015, would be, if reappointed, go to December 31st, 2018. They are Mark Hess, Susan Werner, Keith Shields, and Kimberly Miller.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
You don't have the family trees with you, do you? Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to make those appointments to the board of what?
Children and Youth
Children
Advisory
and
Board.
Youth. Yes, I know it was a good cause, and they're all good people. So all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Miraculously, we have a solid vote there. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
We're adjourned. It's going to be a nice 4 years, folks.